And what do you want the American people to better understand about the Afghan people?
Well, I want the people of the United States to know some of the history of Afghanistan, and that it was not always like we see it right now.
The Obama administration has seemed to be taking a different approach to relations with India compared to the Bush administration. Why, Marvin, do you think that they're taking this approach, and do you think that will affect cooperation in Afghanistan?
You were able to get funding for Afghanistan, and that was one of the keys. You started with $5 million in 1983, and you helped get up to $1 billion in 1989.
From the recent polls that have been conducted, what are the American people seeing as success in Afghanistan?
The story behind the discovery of Afghanistan's hidden treasures is almost as exciting as the treasures themselves.
It seems that the excavated artifacts here are more about legend than actual history.
You've been a strong supporter of imposing some tough conditions, saying there will be no blank checks. What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, that to me is one of the key issues.
I actually don't agree with that. I think there are issues in Afghanistan that need to be dealt with. Obviously, there's differing views on how women's rights should play out in society, but it's obvious that it's Afghan women themselves who want these rights, who are pushing for them, and there's a lot of support within the men as well, but they need the state institutions to enforce them. I think we have to take a step back and see that the process needs to go forward no matter who is elected, and that the United States has a responsibility given that it has troops and large foreign assistance programs there.
Constitution or a government which has such laws.
Already some of the leaders of the European countries have brought up this point that if these kind of laws are put into place, that they will take a very hard look at what support they're giving Afghanistan.
I think that we should frame this as a Pashtun problem or as a Pashtun issue. Terrorism is global, and it's not the result of one group's action.
I partially agree that we need some more troops in the south to secure the border because of the sanctuaries in Pakistan, but it's how the U.S. forces engage with the rest of the population. If they're there to do training of Afghan security forces, then yes, they can have a positive role, but if they're there more in a combat role, they could be seen as individuals who are there to somehow oppress, and that could cause problems for the United States.
While they may not be able to garner enough votes to be leading candidates, some say the strategy is that they may try to then get positions in the next government, no matter who actually ends up winning.